Link engaged.
Visit us at TeamSpeak.com.
Hey everybody, this is Ask Joshi. With me is Cat's Pajamas, and we are casting the finals of the Team Liquid Open number 25. Up here in the top right corner of ZeNEXHack Caverns, we have ZeNEXHack. He's your blue Terran. Down here in the bottom left corner, we have the red Terran. It's going to be coL.Drewbie, the Canadian Terran player living in South Korea right now, training at that GOM Foreigner House with his Korean buddies, coL.Drewbie MVP. That partnership has been going on for a little while now, and I think Drewbie is benefiting quite a lot. He got all the way up to these finals, and it is the TeamSpeak Team Liquid Open. Cannot forget TeamSpeak, the wonderful, wonderful sponsor week to week here for the TL Open.
Yeah, absolutely. And the program we're using to bring this to you guys as well. But yeah, certainly. So here we go, TVT Finals. And if you guys are watching from the VOD and wondering, I thought I saw Damaga take a game against the ZeNEXHack guy. Well, unfortunately, he had some technical difficulties. He was offline for over an hour and was disqualified. He knows about it. He says not to blame anyone. It happens. It's just one of those things. And so here we have it, TVT Finals, where both Drewbie and Hack are actually going gas first. And we are, of course, on patch 1.4, so the barracks changes have gone in place, the Blue Flame Hellion changes have gone through, things like that, and TVT could actually start to be a pretty dynamic matchup. Pain User, who I see over in chat there, has actually been saying over the past couple of weeks that we're going to see a return to that very heavy Marine tank style.
I'd be very interested to see if we do. The production tab right now is just mirrored. I remember it wasn't too long ago where any TVT that you cast would actually be mirrored pretty much all the way up to the 6 or 7 minute mark, just because everyone was doing the same build. Drewbie and Hack doing that right now, but I'm not sure when we'll actually see some divergence. Probably around barracks number 2, I guess. They could actually, someone could go for a 1-1-1 or something like that. I don't know, actually. TVT actually seems like it will have a lot of change due to patch 1.4, and I just haven't seen too many yet since the patch changes.
And here we go. Barracks just finishing up for both these players, and it looks like they're going to drop down some factories here in a second. There's the one down for Hack, and just a couple of seconds later for Drewbie. So no real change here. But we do have a... Now is really telling when the second gas goes down. If it waits for a little while, we could just very well see Drewbie go after... Or either of these players go after Blue Flame Hellions and continue along the line that we've seen recently, maybe even transition to mech after that. I have seen players drop down that second gas, though, and we could have that 1-1-1 behind a couple of Banshees with siege tanks thrown into the mix and then just move over to Mass Marine Tank. But still, these builds have been absolutely mirrored, almost getting into that situation you were talking about before, where up until about the 6 minute mark, nothing's going to change from these players.
Yep, next up, if we see a starport from both guys, it's very likely that we'll see that, but even down to the SCV and the Marine counts, everything's been the same. There's a Hellion from each player and a starport from each player. This takes me back.
So there we have it. Looks like... Starports are coming up, like you said. We do have a tech lab actually going down for Hack, so that's our first differentiation between these two builds so far. But no telling as to what they're going to move into here in a bit. This could easily be Blue Flame Hellions if he swaps it. He could keep it on there and move it onto the starport and go right into a Banshee. It looks like the barracks is being lifted off, but which of these structures is going to get added on? My bet is on the starport at the moment, but like I said, Blue Flame Hellions could be a possibility. There it is.
Yep, Insta Starport on the Tech Lab. Banshee from Hack coming out first. Drewbie needs a little bit more gas to get started on his, but now we are seeing a little bit divergence as Hack is spending his money a little bit more freely. Drewbie saving up now towards about 400, so I wonder if he's going to choose now to expand there. What did he just spend all his money on?
Looks like it went over to a Banshee himself in Marine, and there's the expansion. Okay.
Alrighty, so Drewbie's going to be the first one to try and take an expansion here. Hack on the other side, just making more units for the time being. I'm wondering if he will actually put his foot on the gas and just keep making tons of units. Oh, no, there's a command center there for Hack as well. I was wondering if one base versus two base was going to occur here. Hack may have actually been able to do quite a lot of damage, potentially win that game, but we'll see if Drewbie and Hack are going to stay pretty close to mirroring each other even as we continue into this mid game here.
Yeah, certainly. I would imagine so. We have, let's see, it looks like Hack actually has a 2 Hellion advantage, but there's a 1 SCV advantage out of Drewbie. That's pretty much all at this moment. Taking a look, it looks like these Hellions starting to make their way in for Hack. He's going to try and do a little bit of damage. Banshee versus Banshee at the moment. Drewbie with that bunker in place should be good to go if he can keep this Banshee hanging over those minutes for long enough. Nope. The Marines making their way out. It's going to force the Banshee away. Counterattack coming from Drewbie's Banshee, but it is intercepted in the middle by a Viking.
Only 2 HP left on that Banshee of Hack. Drewbie barely skirts by that Viking, actually, without getting caught, so that's a good thing for him. But I have to ask, if you were a Banshee pilot and you ran into an enemy Banshee pilot, would you try to like go a little bit higher and shoot missiles down at it, or would you just like bump into it and try to shoo it away?
I would just pass as close to it as physically possible. Hopefully through it, actually. So, but Hack looks like he is going to get caught up too by this Viking. So
Kaboom.
Both the Banshees were neutralized. We have Blue Flame Hellions being researched out of old Hack, and Drewbie actually going up to a pretty darn quick third base. Actually, where is that? No, okay, I'm sorry. The command center had been stopped for a while. My apologies. Both players are going to be on 2 base here in a bit. Hack is a little bit earlier done with his, and he's going to drop it over at the 12 o'clock.
Hack's Blue Flame, I have to wonder how effective that's going to be when there really aren't a ton of bio units out for Drewbie right now. Actually, there's a couple of Marines just hanging out in the base. I didn't even see them until just now. But that unit tab only shows 5 light units there for Drewbie at all. Actually, that's very surprising unit tab completely. There's only 7 fighting units at all for Drewbie, and Hack has just been making lots of Marines and Hellions this whole game. His Banshee play there earlier did get shut down by the Viking, and he hasn't actually returned to it yet. Instead, he's now making a Raven, which actually could be helpful if Drewbie continues to make more Vikings, but won't be that helpful if he continues to make Tank Marine.
No, certainly. But like you said, if it ends up being just Banshees and Marauders or something along those lines, yeah, it'll be helpful. We'll also help out with detection if we actually end up moving into that stage of the game. But both players are basically even on supply at the moment. Both players are dead even on workers. And this has actually been a pretty well-fought game so far. There's good detection with the barracks over at the right-hand side for Hack, but we have started to see these players split up into different tech paths for a while. Drewbie actually adding a second factory for the time being. And really, I guess it's just anyone's game at this point.
I'm wondering if these Vikings, doesn't look like it now, but I was wondering if they were going to actually catch that red Banshee off to the left side of the map. It looks like Drewbie is going to manage to make it all the way home, but he's just not building a ton of stuff still. He's only making Marines now at this point, so the Blue Flame Hellions are going to be a lot more viable from Hack, and he's actually making 4 at a time right now. I'm actually getting scared for Drewbie. 4 Blue Flame Hellions at a time versus 5 Marines being produced at a time, not something you like to see in TVT.
Yeah, he's really going to have to hope he can take on huge clumps of them with his siege tanks. Siege mode only now just started, so a little bit behind, but no real big deal. We'll find out, though. He's going to have to find a way to neutralize those Blue Flame Hellions, as you were talking about, and it's not going to be with Banshees because the Raven is already in place and PDDs can't come down. And it looks like Hack is starting to establish his presence on the map a little bit. He's already taken his own ZeNEXHack tower and his opponent's ZeNEXHack tower. Drewbie making his way over to the left-hand side, but he doesn't have siege mode yet, and Hack could actually run by and completely kill this force.
These Hellions could do so much damage to that fighting force. Instead, they are going to go for the economy instead, killing lots and lots of Marines and SCVs. Everything that was left of that natural just got obliterated, and there come the giant Blue Flame Stripes there, killing up all those Marines. Oh my goodness, only tanks left standing, and the Hellions aren't even going to bother with those.
And yeah, so we just have a couple of tanks left, as you had mentioned. Right now, Hack is actually in a very, very good place because he's adding in those valuable tanks to his own composition. He's actually going to have siege tech done by the time Drewbie makes his way out, and with the double tank production, he'll have more than enough with a well-established siege position to drive off this force from Drewbie. This is actually really, really good for Hack. It's really on Drewbie now to make something happen. Otherwise, Hack will be able to seal the deal when this attack comes out.
Yeah, I don't know what Drewbie's going to be able to do after losing all those units. He's going to try and press the issue a little bit here, may try to do a drop into Hack's main, but Hack is already prepared. He's got his siege tanks ready. Drewbie doesn't. They are going to get hammered down very quickly, and the Blue Flame Hellions coming in from the left side there are going to try their best to take out all those Marines. Nothing is going to be able to escape here from Drewbie as the Vikings do their job against the medevac, and the Raven didn't even have to spend any energy. He was just kind of floating around, drawing some fire.
Yeah, and we do want to remind you guys that this is a best of 5 for the final, so if Drewbie goes down here, he will have a couple more chances to try and make his way back into the game, but Hack is taking his third base now. Drewbie will not have that luxury, or if he takes it, it's going to put him pretty far behind. Oh, wow, he actually is going after his command center. Just saw the shadow of it coming up with the right-hand side, and that's actually going to significantly decrease the amount of attacking power he has, because Hack is making his way down. I guess Drewbie felt that he had to expand at some point, or he was just going to be just overrun, but Hack is doing that anyway. He's killed all the rest of Drewbie's attacking forces, and Drewbie really has nothing to defend with back at home.
Ouch, Hack with that 30 supply lead now, even landing the Vikings to take out those last couple of sieged tanks. Looks to be in a very strong position right now. The Raven's still coming along just in case a Cloak Banshee were to rear its ugly head, but you and I both know that's not likely to happen here. Hack, really all he'll need to do is set up a good position with his siege tanks before Drewbie can really get ready. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that. There's just a very thin choke separating these tanks now. Oh, the air units providing spotting for that command center getting canceled, the tank getting destroyed there. Hack just picked up 2 big wins there. Little minor victories turning into a big deal here as we get closer to this big engagement.
And here we go. The big push out of Drewbie is going to try and break this position, but those Marines were clumped up, and the siege tanks from Hack just destroyed Drewbie, and Drewbie is forced to throw down the GG. So Hack takes game number 1 in this best of 5, and we're going to go into game number 2 in just a second, so don't go anywhere, folks.